ahead and kick this off. Can everybody hear me all right? Cesar, you can hear me? We're good? All right, welcome to the parent orientation for this upcoming Sigonella Swordfish swim season. Super excited. The board, parents, swimmers have all been working extremely hard in the off season to make this upcoming competitive season awesome. So we're going to cover some of the things that we can expect this season. This is the agenda for today. I'm doing the welcome now. We'll jump into who we are, what we are. I'll introduce the board to you. The head coach will get up and say some words. Our treasurer will get up, talk to you about a little bit about our finances. And then what we need from you as parents and volunteers to make this team functional. And then we'll wrap up with questions, such. All right, so who we are, we're a private organization, okay? We're not nonprofit, but we are an NFE, a non-federal entity that is sponsored by NAS Sigonella. So we have paperwork filed with the base that allows us to operate here in Sigonella. We also have an MOA with the pool that allows us to use the pool. We do get the pool for free, and we'll talk about that when we get to the schedule, and you see it looks a little funky at first, but that's the reason why. Yeah, we also have MOA with Dodea schools. So our high school kids can letter, and our head coach Casey will talk about that a little bit when she gets up to speak as well. All right, who do we serve? We serve children from age 6 to 19, okay? And 6 to 19 is the first day of short distance championships, which is February 28th. So last day of February is our short distance championship. This is my daughter, Camila. So that's who we serve. And we compete within the league. It's EFSL, European Forces Swim League, okay? And we'll talk about that on one of these upcoming slides here. Next slide. All right, so this is who we are. All right, we strive to make kids competitive swimmers through hard work, discipline, and good sportsmanship, all while having loads of fun. All right, so that's the main goal: build camaraderie, teamwork within our kids, our families, parents, and just have fun along the way while teaching our kids how to swim competitively. Thanks. Okay, so the EFSL was formed in the summer of 1975. They found that there was a shortage of swim teams among Dodea schools. So they started this organization with just a handful of teams. Now we're up to 19 teams stationed all over Europe, Portugal, Spain, Italy, Belgium, just all over. And we compete against each other. So we get to travel to these places and have a good time, but that's what the EFSL is. Next slide, please. All right, so I'll introduce the board members. I'm Keith Delgado, I'm the president. Liz is our vice president. Who we got next? Miss Christine, where you at? Here. Oh, our secretary, Natalie. Oh, right in front of me. The treasurer. We have our head coach, Casey Stevens. Our head official, Matt Arnold. And then our head AO, statistician, Mr. Jesse West. Yeah. But there are a lot more people that go into this that make this team run. Our meet director, I want to introduce her too. Kristen, where you at? Yep, so we'll be dealing with her a lot, so she'll be organizing our meets and stuff like that. Okay, so how are we governed? Okay, we have bylaws. We realized that the bylaws we had in the past needed some work. So we spent a lot of time in the off season updating our team's bylaws, our team's parent handbook. Those can be found on our website. It's hard to see, but that is the page that you find it on. I will send these slides out to everybody so you can see them later. All right. The EFSL also has a constitution and bylaws as well, okay? We ultimately fall into them, so we abide by their bylaws, we build our own bylaws. And then how do we hold our meets? Our meet, we follow the rules of USA Swimming, okay? We also alter those a little bit, and you can find those in EFSL General Meet Annex. And then also, because we're sponsored by NAS Sigonella, we have to meet some rules with them, background checks and everything else for all of our coaches and board members. Next slide. Miss Natalie? I know it's hard to read them, so this wasn't the plan.
Alrighty, so one of the first questions, especially some of you new folks might have, is how much it costs to join the club. So we have tiered pricing this year, and it's for Gold Squad, it's going to be $600 for the year. Yellow Squad is $550, and Blue Squad is $500. And you may think, oh my goodness, that's a lot of money to pay up front, and so what does that encompass? So those fees, in total, with our budget, we have about $25,000 of our budget is coming from those swimmers' dues. And that's gonna cover our coach travel, because we pay, all of our coaches are volunteers. They do not get paid at all. They don't, so we pay for their travel when we are able to, and we send, which I believe Kristen will be talking to in our schedule. We have some meets that we have committed to go to, and those are the meets that we'll be sending our coaches to. And so we pay for our coaches' travel. It's gonna cover board operating expenses, so even though we can use the pool for free for practices, we still have to pay to use the pool and lifeguards for our meets because they fall on the weekends. It's gonna cover the software that we have to use for our meets, for the Team Unify, the website that you guys use, that you can register through, that we use for our swim clinics, that we use for all of our part of our stats and everything like that. Our meet, when we declare events for our meets, that's all gonna be paid for with our dues. Also, we have to register all of our swimmers with EFSL. We have a registration fee, and then we pay those splash fees. So just as an example, every swimmer we have to pay $28 to register with the EFSL for the year, and then if, for example, you go to short distance championships, we have to pay per swimmer and then per event. So if you're swimming in 5 or 6 events, that could be well over $150 that we're paying for your swimmer to participate. So that's what your fees are going to cover. And any splash fees that we may pay for any other swim meets that we've committed to go to. Now, if you go to a meet that's not on our schedule that we've not committed to, then you would be responsible for those splash fees. Typically, the teams don't charge splash fees unless they're renting a facility, which we have to rent facilities for championship meets because it's a 50-meter pool and it has to encompass a lot of people. Some of the other things that will also be included is we're going to provide your swimmers with a cap, a t-shirt, and a sweatshirt, and that's all part of those dues as well. If you decide there is a $50 non-refundable that's included in those dues. So if you decide after before September 30th that, you know what, this just isn't for your swimmer, then you will get your dues returned minus that $50 non-refundable fee. We have 2 payment options. You can pay in full and you will get a 10% discount if you decide to pay in full. We also have a monthly option where you can pay per month over 5 months. So you will be invoiced in September through January. So we need to have all dues paid before the end of January. And that is something that we also have a multi-swimmer discount. So you can't really see it because it's kind of small up there, but if you have 2 swimmers on the blue squad and you decide you want to pay up front for both of those swimmers, you would, instead of paying $1,000, you're going to pay $855 because you're going to get the $50 discount on the first swimmer, and then the second swimmer you're going to get, it's going to be the 10% discount for pay in full, which is $450, and then you're going to get an additional 10% discount, $45 off for that second swimmer. So the same would apply for if you were in yellow squad or gold squad. So if you pay in full before August 31st, it's going to be a 10% discount. If you decide, and if you have multi-swimmers, it's going to be a 10% discount for every swimmer after the first one. And we maximize those discounts. So when you're going through the registration process, it's important to make sure you select, there's going to be an option in the drop-down when you select which, when you're assigning the swimmer to the squad that you've selected, the pay in full option or monthly option, because that's going to tell us if you want to be billed up front for the full thing on August 15th, or if you want to be invoiced on September 1st monthly. So when you do register, another point is that you're not going to pay anything at registration. It'll be zero because we have to have the system go through and run the billing summary. So all invoicing for pay in full will go out on August 15th with the discounts, and then if you decide to go monthly, you'll be invoiced for that on September 1st. Next slide. And then from a budget perspective, so again, kind of small. So we started the year with $5,500 in our checking and savings, and we are projecting to have about $25,000 of swimmers' dues come in, but we also have $28,000, I think it's for fundraising goal. That sounds like a really big fundraising goal. We've already raised almost $9,000 between swim clinics, the spring and summer swim clinics, and the luau that we hosted a concession stand at the elementary school end of year luau. So we also have in there about $12,000 in income that we expect to receive because we are responsible for merchandise this year at long distance championships. And that should be a solid amount for us. We shouldn't, a lot of the legwork has been done for it, but that means that we have about $6,000 to $7,000 remaining to meet our fundraising goal to cover all the rest of the expenses that we are going to have. So other expenses that we're going to have is socials. We have also other operating costs like equipment and supplies. So we have a timing system, a new timing system that we purchased, any type of supplies. We do hospitality for officials at our home meets where we're going to provide water and food and things like that. So a lot of those other items are not included in your swimmer's dues. So we do have some fundraising goals that we have to hit for the year to make sure that everything lines up. And we are also, one of the things that this board has decided to do is try to get our savings reserves back up. So about right before COVID, we had about $20,000 to $25,000 in our savings, and that was a continual thing year to year. But with the limited options that we had during COVID, everything kind of got depleted and dried up. So we're trying to build that back up. And so we'd like to turn over to the next board next year with about $10,000 to $11,000 in the account. So that is also what some of the fundraising is going to go. So next year, and we have to have reserves in case anything happens, like, you know, we break a lane line during swimming, during practice, during a meet. If we break one of those lane line markers, we do have to pay for that. So also insurance, we have to cover insurance. That was one of the things your dues cover. But any questions on budget? No? Okay.
Thank you, Natalie.
Yeah.
Next slide. All right, so board and parent meetings. Right now we're having 2 board meetings a month, the first and third Tuesday of every month. Everyone is welcome to attend. You can earn volunteer hour. I would say hours, but they normally they've been lasting too. So I guess volunteer hours for attending those. That's one way to chip off at it. Everyone is welcome to participate, provide input, bring new things to the board. The only thing you can't do is vote. But yeah, please come out and support us there. We love new and fresh ideas. We'll also have some parent meetings throughout. At a minimum, we'll have the beginning of the season, which is this one. We'll have a mid-season somewhere around November, and then we'll have an end of season somewhere around STC time, February time frame. At a minimum. We may do some more in between as needed. Next slide. All right, how do we communicate? So there's a bunch of different avenues. WhatsApp is this team's main way of pushing information out to you. The immediate things you need to know will come out through WhatsApp. If it starts to rain right before practice, expect to hear it on WhatsApp. But we also have Facebook. That's a cool way to post pictures and celebrate our children. We do have 2 Facebook pages. One is private. That's one where we'll post pictures of the kids. It'll just be the team members in there. Then we have a public one. We will not post general team children pictures on that one. We'll just put general stuff out on that one. So make sure you join both. Team Unify is our main website. That's where you're going to go to register, but we also have our team documents on there. You can go on there to see what to expect at a meet. It's also in our parent handbook. So a lot of things in our parent handbook can be found on the website, which coincidentally you can find our parent handbook on the website. There's a couple apps that we use as well, specifically for the swim meets. Meet Mobile is one we look up. You'll find your swimmers' times. Time Drops Live is another one that links to our timing system, instant timing results. And then SE Motion is the cell phone version of Team Unify. Next slide, please. These are the WhatsApp communities, so everyone should have received an email on which squad your child is in. If you're not already in the color group, those are the QR codes. If you're not fast enough to get these ones, we do have them printed out on the back, so feel free to scan those as you walk out as well. But make sure you get in those groups. That is the main way that we communicate. Next slide. All right, codes of conduct. All right, this is important. Okay, so we have a couple. We have one that's a parent and a swimmer code of conduct. Basically says what our expectations are of your swimmer, what our expectations are of you as a parent, and then you both are going to sign that and then turn them into the head coach. She'll talk about her timeline for that. There's also a swimmer behavior agreement. We just want to ensure that our children are being safe out there on the pool deck. Okay, so it touches on that. I believe the parent and the swimmer signs that one as well, but that one will also make its way back to Ms. Casey. Then the EFSL code of conduct, they do have a code of conduct. There's no forms to sign for that one, but when you register with the EFSL, that is one of the things you're agreeing to, so make sure you take a look at it. They echo each other, pretty much. Next slide. All right, upcoming events. Okay, so we're here getting all the good information, learning about how awesome this team is. If you decide that you want to join the team, and we hope that you do, because it is awesome. The registration due date is August 9th. All right, and that's also the registration due date to register with the EFSL. The EFSL, there's no cost to that. It's basically a roster. You go on there, type your information in there. They'll talk about the code of conduct, and then you'll be registered with them. But you need to do both prior to August 9th. Our first practice is August 12th. It's really August 11th, but for most of the group, it's August 12th. The 28th is our mock meet. Okay, this is a good opportunity for the team just to run a quick meet at one of our practices. Everyone will do one event, 50 freestyle, but it's awesome practice for our swimmers. It's awesome practice for officials, referees, timers, you name it. All right, we want to practice it once before we have our real meet on September 6th. So September 6th is our first home meet here at the Nazwan Pool. It's called the Remembrance Meet. Next slide. Miss Casey.
Okay. My name is Stacey Stevens. I am the head coach for this season. So I'm going to cover a couple things that are going to be just important for you and your swimmers to know. In regards, real quick, to the code of conduct, there is one. So this front page is the one for parents for you guys to go over with your swimmer, and you guys will both sign that. The back side is the swimmer's behavior agreement. This you will also want to go over with your swimmer. They sign it, and then I will sign it when I receive it from them. That way, I have a hard copy of everything. While I do not anticipate, sometimes things happen. So if we're ever in a situation that we need to have a swimmer come in, or we need to have a sit down, I will have this, I will bring this if there is, for some reason, a behavior issue that has to be addressed. That is why we have this. That way everybody understands what the rules are, and we can say, I can pull this out and say, hey, like, let's go over this. Remember when we signed this, and what we agreed to, just to make sure that our kids are being safe, our kids are being taken care of, that everyone is on the same page as far as expectation goes, as far as code of conduct and behavior in the water and with their teammates. Yeah, I'm going to cover all of these things, so we can just go to the next slide.
Next slide.
Sorry.
Take that.
All right, so we have a lot of new faces that are going to be on the pool deck this season. For those of you who are new, everybody's new to you. For those of you who are returning, there are a few returning faces, but there are a lot of new faces. We are very fortunate that we have built a really great coaching staff. That coaching staff, though, does consist of a lot of active duty members. So just be prepared. You and your swimmers may not always see the same coaches on the deck for every practice, okay? One of the things that we are doing, though, to try to ensure some consistency in our coaching and our approach to teaching things is the coaches are all going to work together, and we're going to build kind of a master training schedule. That way, no matter who is on deck, they know what they're doing, they know the drills that they're supposed to be doing. We're going to have some consistency in how those drills are being taught, which really helps, especially with younger swimmers as they're developing. It's sometimes difficult. Everybody comes from different backgrounds. They were taught different things in different ways. So it can be a little hard sometimes for newly developing swimmers when they're being taught things in different ways. So we're going to try to streamline that as best that we can. We may also have situations where if something comes up and a coach can't be on deck, whoever's going to step in and take their place knows exactly what they're doing and knows what the workouts are going to look like. So that is the dream. We're going to be working on getting that developed for the season. So Keith mentioned the schedule for next week. That Monday the 11th, that is a morning practice time. So for gold swimmers only, we have morning practice at the NAS 2 pool. So that is, I think it said 6:15 start. So we will have that first morning practice on Monday the 11th. Everybody else will start on the 12th. So I'll kind of show you guys when we get to the schedule, although you're not going to really be able to see it.
That one's optional.
So I would recommend in your parent handbook, this is there. It's kind of a mess. So look at it very carefully in your parent handbook because We are graciously afforded to use the pool for free. We are also at the mercy of what MWR can provide for us. The NAS2 pool is actually an adult-only active duty pool, so for them to give us time over there, we are just grateful for whatever they can provide. So the gold little strips that are on the anchors, those are the morning time practices. So again, gold team, Mondays and Fridays are what we have for morning practices. This is also a great option if you have a swimmer, if you have a gold swimmer that can come, if they have an afternoon sport that takes them away from the pool deck, it's a good opportunity for them to be able to get some pool time in and not miss out completely. Unfortunately, because we are over at NAS2, we're only starting this season with 3 days a week, Tuesday through Thursday for all groups. Blue is starting with a very short, it's a 30-minute practice. And we could have started them sooner next week, but then we would have had to push it the following week because school is starting. So we decided 4 schedules might be a little much to process, so we've got 3. Once we move over here to NAS1, that will be after Labor Day. We still will only be on 3 days a week, but blue practice shifts up 15 minutes, so they'll be starting at 3:15. Once we get to September 22nd, we will have the rec swim pool will be closed. Bridget was able to extend rec swim hours this year, so the pool is open for rec swim for longer, which is why we have the abbreviated practice schedule starting out. But once we move into September 22nd, it's a full schedule. That is also this year for yellow and gold going to include dryland. I am actually also the dryland coach. So I'll be running that practice Mondays and Wednesdays. Yellow will have 30 minutes and gold will have 45. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, because we are only running the yellow and gold, they will get to have longer practices. So they'll have an hour and 15 and an hour 45. Blue, once we move into full schedule, so my goal, and Miss Christine and I were talking about this, our goal is to start shifting our kids to where they are ready to get in the water as soon as the pool is open at 3 o'clock. So blue, while they're only getting 3 days a week, we are pushing it for them. They will be in the water for an hour each of those days. So Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, each squad gets an hour of practice. And then gold and yellow on Tuesdays and Thursdays will have longer practices because they need it. So, anybody have any questions about the schedule? Look it over. If you have questions, please feel free to message me. I am a message WhatsApp person, so if you ever do need me, please don't use the coach's email. I'm really bad with email. I'm much better with messages. So, but look it over and see. But basically, we have a 3-hour block of time for the pool. So not a lot of time. We're doing the best that we can with it. All right, next slide. Something else you'll see, we do have an attendance policy. So why this is important is, and I should have printed that out because I can't read that, so I'm going to do my best to remember what it is. Blue is 2 days a week. Yellow is 3 days a week of swim practice plus 1 dry land. Gold is 4 plus a dry land. So one of the reasons that we take attendance and that it's important is for a couple things. Primarily, if we have a swimmer that's trying to hit goals and they're not hitting it, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go track attendance and say, okay, how often are they coming? Do they have access to dry land and they're not coming to dry land? And so these are things that will help us understand where we might need to make some changes to help a swimmer kind of push through maybe a plateau or something that they're having. The other part of that, and luckily we're fortunate, we were able to bring on a lot of new swimmers, but if your child is going to miss practice, please let me know. Yes, now if they have a standing thing, like we have scouts on Wednesday, so if your child is in scouts and you know they're not going to practice on Wednesday, you don't have to message me every week and say, my kid is in scouts this week. Just let us know ahead of time. Same thing if they're in a sports session and they've got, I don't know what sports, whatever.
Right now,
Soccer or whatever. If they're going to be out for that. One of the things that I want to just kind of preemptively say, if your child has another obligation that requires them to get out of the pool early, work with your child in figuring out what is the best way for them to know or for you to be there to pull them out versus bombarding coaches every 3 minutes and asking what time it is because they need to know when they need to get out of the pool, okay? it's just distracting, takes a lot of time. So they can, if they have a watch, or if you're gonna be there to pick them up, but work out a system with them so that they know when they need to get out of the pool, so that they get to their next thing on time. What else does that say? Yeah, so just make sure you communicate, like, we're here, if stuff happens, we totally get it, things come up, emergencies, whatever. Again, I will just ask that you send me a WhatsApp message instead of email. I will not likely get the email. I am a homeschool mom, so like I am not available 24/7. We do school time around the same time everybody else does school time. So if you need me and it is an emergency, just call me, because that will tell me. Because if you send me a message, I'm not going to check that until probably sometime after 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That's a pretty good time for us to get schoolwork done. But just so everybody is aware, if it's something that needs my immediate attention, you can just call me through WhatsApp. The handbook, get into that handbook. It's very helpful. You'll probably need it for a while to master the schedule, but just pay attention, because we're at NAS 2 until Labor Day, then we shift to NAS 1, but then September 22nd, the schedule shifts again. That should be our final shift. But, and then yes, so as long as you're letting me know that a swimmer's gonna be absent, then that absence is excused. So if we start seeing a lot of a swimmer that's not showing up, and we don't know that they're not showing up, then just be prepared. You'll probably get some sort of communication and asking for a meeting to kind of just check in and see what's going on. All right, next slide. Swimsuits. We do have team suits available. You are not required to purchase a team suit, but it does look nice when everybody goes to a swim meet and they're all kind of the same. But you can get them on Swim Outlet. That is where I would recommend you getting it. There is another option that's not quite as good. Also, Decathlon, if you do not want to buy a team suit, that is fine. I would encourage you to at least make it a blue suit or something that is team colors, so that way they still kind of... Plus, the coaches really appreciate it whenever they can pick their swimmers out in the water based on like suits and caps. So that way they know. So speaking of that, the yellow Swordfish swim cap, everybody will get one of those. I do believe we plan on offering parents for everyone to purchase personalized ones. We did that last season, so you can get like their name, first or last name put on them. Recommend it if you do, because much less likely to get lost in the sea of yellow caps. All right, next slide. So here's what they look like on Swim Outlets. We have a couple different options, obviously boy and girl. I will say when measuring, make sure you take measurements. Especially for a girl, one of the best measurements, really the primary one, is like you measure like the length of their torso. So you're gonna put the tape measure between the legs and touch up here at the highest point of the shoulder, and make sure that use that measurement primarily when figuring out what suit is best for your girls. And it should not have a lot of give, okay? They're swimming in these. I would say like when you buy their competition suit, save it for the swim meets. Have them have other suits to swim in for practice, because the more they wear them, the less tight they're going to be. So when you do like a strap test, you should be able to pull it off the shoulder, but like you shouldn't be able to pull it like all the way up to the ear. Like it needs to be snug. Otherwise, and they'll probably put it on for the first time and they'll complain and they'll say it's too tight, and that probably means it fits as long as they can get it on. If they can't get it on, that's a different thing. Next slide. So this is important. If you have kiddos that are 12 and under, they are not allowed to wear a tech suit, okay? They will be disqualified if they try to swim in a meet in a tech suit. So, what a tech suit, so essentially, so if it has the FINA logo, which is this really, the one on the right, it looks like a QR code, if it has that logo on it, for it to be okay for a 12 and under to wear, it has to have the green check mark beside it. So the FINA logo by itself is not an eligible swimsuit for a 12 and under to wear. Does that make sense? Does anybody need like any further? I could describe it correctly, but essentially, if you're gonna have one with the FINA logo and they're 12 and under, it needs to have the check mark. Or just buy a suit that doesn't have the FINA logo. And yeah, I think that's it. Is that it for me? What's the next slide? Am I done? Yep. Is this
All
you
right.
right?
Thanks,
Oh,
Casey.
wait, I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
go
not
ahead.
finished.
Yeah.
I lied. Real quick, in your things, you have equipment lists for some. These are some examples. So yellow and gold primarily, blue doesn't really have stuff. We do want gold, especially for shore. This is what a center snorkel looks like, so this is what you want them to get. This, and then fin options, here's a couple different options. I'll tell you, my kids do not like having open keeled fins, so their fins are solid. You just want to make sure you're not getting long fins. We would prefer them to be a little bit shorter. But Decathlon has fins, so you can go try them on and kind of get an idea for size. We also will be using paddles. Here, this is like an example, but we do have paddles. The team we do have paddles that they can use. They just don't have the straps and stuff on them. So if you would prefer your child to have their own stuff, you can buy paddles if you want. We do have some fins, but we don't necessarily, we cannot guarantee fit. So if you want to just get your own equipment, I recommend getting some sort of mesh sweat bag that is separate from their other stuff, because then all of the water drains very nicely. But this is what a center snorkel looks like. So, because it teaches them, they don't turn their head with it. So, that's some of the equipment that you guys need to get, especially for gold team. Okay, now I'm finished.
Thank you, Casey.
All right, so what do we need from parents? Okay, well, first thing is to register for the team. We talked about that earlier. Saturday, August 9th is the deadline for that. We sent out a push notification on WhatsApp talking about the physicals. We sent that early because every day matters. Call, make an appointment. Mr. Fowler said that there was tons of appointments available, so go ahead, make a call, get your appointment on there. Get your kid in there. Volunteer, like I mentioned, this team is all volunteer run. Nobody gets paid. We operate because parents volunteer their time, and to be honest, older kids too. Everybody is putting in effort to make this team work. So we do have a couple key positions that are open. If you're interested in them or you have a skill set in one of these, please just get with one of us and we'll get you linked up with the right person to make that happen. But right now, my wife and I have been kind of taking care of the Facebook and the social media. I don't even have my own Facebook, so I'm not that good at it. If you are interested in taking care of the social media or being the webmaster, taking care of the website, please let me know and we'll get with that. You? Oh, you did it last year. All right. Was that a yes?
Yes, that was a yes.
All right, scratch that one off the Okay, we're looking for an assistant administrative official. They're the ones that take care of all the meet paperwork. So swimmers' times, all that good stuff. If you're interested in that, get with Mr. Jesse. We're also looking for an assistant meet director. Miss Kristen is our head meet director. She's awesome at it, but we would like her to have an assistant and someone else qualified to do that as well. So if you're interested in learning how to run a meet, get with Miss Kristen. Our head timer. They're the ones that are in charge of taking swimmers' times as they come to the wall, or ensuring that process is running smoothly. And then officials, Mr. Matt, did he leave that out? Okay, yeah,
Oh, so sorry, I can speak with him.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I know, it's like, where's the thing? Actually, I am not so good at the shameless puns. But that my husband is. So my husband, Matthew Arnold, is the head official for the Southern Division, which is the division we're part of. If you really want to learn all about stroke, if you want to get your steps in, if you want to wear a super fancy white shirt and black shorts, and be on the pool deck to see your kids and then cheer for them really, really great inside, on the inside, with a straight face, then officiating is for you, okay? We have been doing, I was just asking him that at the very beginning, we're entering our 4th year with the Swordfish. It's an amazing community and family of swimmers. My kids love it, both of them swim, and he's been an official since the beginning. I am a marshaller, which is why I'm wearing the crazy bow, and to get the kids psyched to get to the right lane, to get to the right event, and in the right heat, so that the officials can watch them. So he is always looking for more officials. So in the back, do you want me to do just the spiel for the back?
Absolutely.
Okay, so spiel for the back. So as Keith said, we run on volunteers and a lot of coffee, particularly on meet days. And so there are a few clipboards back there. They are really just to see what your interests may be. Some people like really, and all of those that are back there are ways to be on the pool deck to have the best view of your kiddo swimming during a meet. So there's an officials clipboard back there. There's also a marshalling clipboard, which is where we, it's kind of like herding kittens, but we get all the kids together and we get them in the right lane for the right event, in the right heat, and most importantly, get them excited, try and help them with the jitters so that they swim their absolute best, hence the crazy bell. There's also timers. We need timers. That's another great spot on the deck. You're hanging out during one lane. You usually have at least 2 or 3 buddies. But there's a lot of this, which is why I marshal, because that stresses me out too much. But that's another great opportunity. And then if you want to pop down to the deck and watch your kids swim and then hang out with concessions, we always need people for concessions. We do a tiny bit of fundraising with concessions during our meets, but really we just want to have everyone happy and fed. And so if you are a cook or you like to do that kind of thing, those and everything I just chatted about is all volunteer hours. And he's going to go into that a little bit with you, but absolutely like great ways to get your volunteer hours in. And we have technically kind of 4 home meets. We have a double dip, which is actually 2 different meets. In October, we have our first one here in September, and then we have a great polar plunge in January. And so there's lots of opportunities to help out. So that's it.
Thank you, Steve. All right, so she talked about the volunteering. So what do we ask for? What do we require? All right, if you have one swimmer on the team, it's 40-hour minimum throughout the season. Very easy to meet. Volunteer at the meets. You can come to board meetings. Tons of ways to do it. If you have 2 or more children on the team, it's 50 hours. Okay, and this has to be settled before STC, our championship meet. All right, every family is required to also volunteer at STC if you go there. We'll talk about that, or Mr. Kristen will talk about where that's at in a little bit. But yeah, so 40, 50 hours depending on how many swimmers you have. All right, we do have a bunch of away meets on the team schedule. Paris, and again, Kristen will go into it. Paris, where else we got? Yeah, Naples, Italy. Yeah, I mean, we're going all over. But try your best to attend some of these. Yeah, it's not required, okay? Yeah, Dolomites, yeah, there's a bunch of cool things up there. Try your best. If you can go, all right? Support the team. They're fun to get out there. We hang out as a team at night. Sing karaoke, have a couple drinks. It's a blast for adults and kids together. All right, so in order to attend SCC, you have to attend a minimum of 3 meets throughout the season. You can get those all doing home meets. And then be patient and supportive, all right? Support your children. Although we're teaching them how to swim competitively, we want them to have fun, all right? We want them to want to swim again next year. So be supportive and have patience with them most of all. And if you have issues or questions, reach out to your coach or your squad coach. If you're not getting an answer there, reach out to the head coach. And if you still need help, you're more than welcome to reach out to the board. We talked about these positions already. So if you're interested in any of the positions I talked about, reach out to us. Oh, thank you. Awards coordinator and merchandise. I think that's merchandising. Okay. Yeah, we're looking for a merchandising coordinator to help with buying and selling merchandise throughout the season, as well as awards. So for awards, you'll work with stats, and that's how we reward our children. Ribbons and medals and things like that. Pentathlon at our double dip, just getting those things squared away for our children. Next slide. Okay, we talked about that. Okay, what happens if you don't meet your minimum hours? Was that what you're gonna? Okay, yeah, so what happens if you don't meet your minimum hours, all right? Basically, at the end of the season, you're assessed $10 for every hour that you miss. Typically, and we hope this never happens, because everyone's gonna be involved, everyone's gonna have a great time. But if you don't, you'll be charged for it. Support the team. Miss Natalie talked about our fundraising goal. We do have a car wash coming up. I'm not sure the exact date yet. We have a swim-a-thon. That's an awesome way to raise money for the team. We budgeted that pretty conservatively. Hopefully we exceed that. But essentially, reach out to your parents, reach out to grandma, aunties, uncles, and it's like a pay per lane. So the swimmers usually get very excited, see how many laps they can swim in a pool, and we pay them based off how many laps they're swimming. So it's an awesome fundraiser for the kids. And then our next big one is the LDC merch that Natalie talked about, selling all the merchandise at long distance championships. Next up. All right, mock meet, I touched on it earlier. It's gonna be at the NAS 2 pool. Once Mr. Jesse has it all up and running on the website, we're gonna go in and declare. So that's how you tell the team whether or not you're gonna attend a meet, okay? So you'll go in the app, you'll click a button, say yes, my swimmer's gonna be there, or no, they're not gonna be there. Warm-ups will start at 15:30, the meet will start at 1600, and we're just gonna have one event, all 50 freestyle, and we should be done by 6 o'clock. But we'll need volunteers for that. You earn your volunteer hours through that, timing, marshalling, officiating, tear down, setup, all the good stuff. And it's a good way for the team to get practice on running the meet. Next slide. All right, this is our first official meet on September 6th, 9/11 Remembrance Meet. Bay Seal will come down, kick off the season. This meet is actually the first meet through the whole league. So we have been putting on the first meet for the whole league. Naples is going to be coming down, so we'll be competing against Naples Tiger Shark. Lots of fun. It's like our sister team. It'll be on NAS 1. For that, we'll have 4 individual events and 1 relay. So 5 events total for everybody. And again, more volunteer hours for everybody there. Next slide. Ms. Kristen, over to you, our meet director.
Hi, my name is Kristen West. I am the team meet director. And going back to the 2 meets, can you go back a slide for me a second? So we have 4 home meets scheduled, and with the Remembrance Meet being the first one, and then the mock meet as well. The mock meet is going to be a great opportunity for those of you who are new to swim to kind of see how a meet runs and operates. One of the things that we're going to be asking parents this year that is new from last year is to have your child's arms marked prior to coming to the meet, coming to on deck. Just because it is a lot for volunteers to be marking arms. So what we're going to do on that mock meet is when Jesse puts out the information to declare, we're going to make a video to kind of show you how to go on and declare for that meet, what it looks like to pick events, because that is going to be something that you as parents are responsible for, is picking events. And if you are, I don't know what events to pick for my kid, I don't know what is the best option for them to swim at what meet, that's when you would talk to your squad coaches, that's when you would talk to Casey to help you decide which events to put your child in. And ultimately, the head coach finalizes all of the events anyway. So if she sees kind of an irregularity, she'll change it, and I'm assuming she would reach out to you. Your child will have essentially a permanent tattoo all swim season on their arm. They won't wash their arms for a couple of days because it looks really cool when they go to school. And it is what we call the event heat, lane, and stroke tattoo, where you are going to mark what events your child is swimming in. Again, when we do our mock meet, we're going to create a video to show you how to do that. If you're like, Kristen, I do not understand how to do this at all, what I am going to ask you to do is if you can at least, on a sticky note or in your phone, write down the events you know your child is swimming. Because for volunteers to go and look at the heat sheets, it takes a lot of time. And we don't want kids to have issues like being put in wrong events because the event was incorrectly marked on their arm. So we are going to start encouraging parents to come or with swimmers' arms marked as much as possible. Okay, next slide. Thank you. So, meet travel, the fun stuff. This is the fun stuff. You are not mandatory, but to participate in short distance champs, your swimmer has to compete in at least 3 EFSL swim meets. We have 4. So, right there are 3 of them. Okay? A minimum of 8 swimmers is required for a coach to attend a meet. If we do not have 8 swimmers, the team will still go. However, we'll just ask a parent to potentially step in on deck, or another team's coach to kind of step and help in as needed as well. And then all travel is on the family's expense. Airfare, hotel, rental, etc. But traveling is honestly one of the best parts about doing this. It is super, super, super fun. Brian, thank you. So here is our swim season calendar. We will put this back in the group chat for those of you who joined after we officially put this out. So the 4 meets are what we are our meets here in September. So we have our Remembrance meet September 6th. October 11th and 12th is our double dip, so that counts as 2 meets right there. And then in January we have our polar plunge. The plan is to have all of the meets right here on NAS 1. We do have a potential pool out in town, but if we can hold them here at our pool, that is going to be the ultimate goal. Some other highlights for the season, we have Oktoberfest in Stuttgart, Germany, so if anybody likes to drink beer and wants to go to Oktoberfest, there's a group of us going, so we're ready to go for that. Spooky Splash up in Legnano is super fun. The Bella Italia, everybody needs to stay there. It is like the best time. So that's a great, great team. One where so much of the team goes and parents, swimmers have a blast. The new meet for all of us is Paris this year. Swimmers are actually going to swim in the Olympic pool, which is really, really cool. And that is, I believe, December 13th. And then we do swim and ski, and then our polar plunge. Okay, thank you. Okay, so the 2 I didn't talk about out there are long distance champs and short distance champs. Long distance champs happen in November. So for those of you who are new to swim, there is long distance swimming and there is short distance swimming. LDC is going to be in Legnano, so it's actually the same place that Spooky Splash is at. It is a really, really nice pool facility. It is Thanksgiving weekend, and you must have your swimmer must have qualifying times in order to attend. Friday night, what's cool about LDC is, so we were supposed to be the host for LDC. They were rotating it amongst teams, but the league decided to share it amongst teams. So we're not hosting the entire thing, but we are hosting the Friday night meet, Friday night at the races, and anybody can swim that. So if you have multiple swimmers and say only one of your swimmers qualifies for LDC, your other swimmer could definitely swim that Friday night meet as well. So that's going to be a meet that we host as well. And then in the spring, or in the end of the season, we have SDC, and that's in Eindhoven in the Netherlands. Again, you have to have qualifying times, and this is when you have to compete in those 3 meets in order to go. Okay?
So they only have to hit the qualifying.
Yeah, we'll talk about the qualifying times.
Next slide.
Thank you. So qualifying times. There are 4 charts to look at. There is SDC qualifying times in a 25-meter pool as well as in a 50-meter pool. And then there are long distance qualifying times for a 25-meter pool and for a 50-meter pool. How you look at this is where there are times for your swimmer's age is what they will swim in that meet. So you'll see that there's some in LDC that older swimmers don't swim, that younger swimmers do swim, and vice versa. Okay? When we talk about qualifying time, your swimmer only has to qualify once. So if they qualify for the 50 free at our very first Remembrance meet, they are good to swim that in the championship meet. Okay? It's not that we have to keep swimming it and swimming it and swimming it. Once they hit a qualifying time, they're good to go. Did you have a question?
Oh, no, I was just saying, if they have a birthday in the middle of the year,
Yes. Yes. So that's a tricky part. If your swimmer ages up during the season, they then technically go to the next age for that time. Okay. We're going to pin these onto our Facebook. We're going to put them on in the chat. They are on EFSL's website. They're on our website. And what's cool too about the AO and the software is he actually has the ability to, if your swimmer gets a qualifying time at a meet, it'll say QT time. So you'll already know if your swimmer has qualified for the SDC or LDC meets. Yes.
So after they've qualified, they can, of course, keep swimming and trying to get a better time.
Oh, yeah.
Because everyone that's at those long distance champs and short distance champs gets seeded by time with like people who have similar times.
Correct.
And
So yeah, it's not that once your swimmer swims, they're never going to swim that in another meet ever again. They're going to continue to swim it, but they only have to qualify once. You got that qualifying time once in order to be able to attend that meet. Yes.
Is it expected of us to also volunteer during the other meets at the other locations?
Yes.
Yes. So and again, that counts as your volunteer hours as well. So just like our meet is coming up, we will put it out to Naples about volunteers, like what we need. They'll put out, hey, we need Sigonella to send 10 volunteers, and you'll be able to have the opportunity to volunteer at those meets as well. SDC and LDC for sure is a big one for volunteering as well. Yes.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Yep.
For the meets that are, for example, Naples or New Jersey, are we setting things, because I understand something like behavior, but are we putting things together as a team, like we're gonna be in this hotel?
So typically everybody kind of finds their own accommodations within there. We all kind of, those of us who have been on the team, we all kind of found our place, but we can always suggest. We don't necessarily travel as a team in the sense of organizing hotels. We try and do a team dinner when we are at these locations as well. I don't know, do you want to?
So for SDC and LDC, there will be a recommended, when the meet announcement goes out,
Yep.
there'll be a recommended one. If you want to go to SDC, book it immediately, because you can always cancel, because
Yep.
that will get completely full
Yep.
within a month. It's
Short distance champs.
class.
And then in long distance, they also have recommended hotels.
Yep, they'll have recommended hotels. Spooky Splash is at the Bella Italia, so that'll be an option. I believe Swim and Ski is another Bella Italia. So there are some meets that the host team will put out, like, hey, here's a place that we've booked out rooms, but we as a team don't book out rooms together.
But we usually set up a chat in,
Yep.
like for each swim meet that's away, so that we can all communicate, like, oh, who's flying and where, so that we can help each other out. So that's also something.
Yeah, like on Facebook, like what I was last year, little price this year, and we'll call like, hey, who's coming to this meet? And you're like, we are, and that's how we add you to that chat. So we can also help each other marshal your kids, and again, set up the group stuff,
Yeah.
and all those things. So you're not alone, but
Yeah, you're not alone there. We just don't, that's a lot of coordination Yeah, and I mean, and what you can do too is like, we'll always put, I'm staying here, we put those kinds of things out, but we don't as a team arrange the travel like that.
Chances are a lot of people will be on the same flight as you
Correct,
anyway.
yeah, absolutely. Like tends to be like
happens
a
all
whole
the time.
Swordfish flight. The other meet that we did not talk about is divisionals. So each division has their own kind of like championship meet in a way. Ours is,
It's in Naples.
I know where it is. When is it? February 7th. This year it is in Naples, so it's close by. Last year it was in Rodo, wasn't it? Last year it was in Rodo. So it travels. I believe we might be up for it soon. I think.
It'll probably be Lake and Heath next year.
Yeah, after that it might be Lake and Heath. But we will have to host it at some point. So that is another one, and that is just all of the teams within our division. SDC and LDC is the entire league that comes and swims. So, yes.
I had a point back to your question of sometimes if you go to that team's like actual webpage, like Stuttgart, they have wonderful information on their actual webpage about like these are the hotels that are close to us. These are like Stuttgart is the one that I found that actually
recommendations, yeah.
And some of that should be on meet announcements too, but unfortunately, the meet announcement, you're going to be booking your tickets long before a meet
Before a
announcement
meet
comes
announcement
out.
comes out. But we communicate, and if, you know, you're at the pool deck, hey, are you going to this meet? And we all talk constantly about who's going where, when, where we're staying, and it usually ends up people are together. Yeah. Any other questions about meet? Yes? Yeah. No. So what we did when we built the schedule is we looked at the Dodea calendar. So we tried to pick the swim meets where Dodea was off either on a Friday, a Monday, or a Friday or and a Monday, depending on how it worked. So if it's a 2-day swim meet, it means that they're swimming Saturday and Sunday. Now, does that mean your swimmer has to swim both days? No. When you get that declaration, it'll say session 1 and, you know, Saturday, session 2 Sunday. You can just choose events for Saturday. So again, it kind of is up to what your swimmer, if your swimmer has ambitions of short distance champs and long distance champs, that's when you have to kind of start getting a little creative as to where you're swimming and what days. But if it's a 2-day swim meet, you can choose to swim both days. If not, you know, you can pick either Saturday, Sunday, whatever works for you. Yes? No, that's okay.
Bring them on.
Yeah.
Are we doing prelims and finals on the same day, or is it going to be one day prelims or finals, or are they all finals?
It's all finals. We don't do prelims here. Yeah, EFSL does not do prelims. It's all finals. Yes, correct? Am I correct in that?
I'm assuming because I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's all finals, right? Yeah, it's all finals. So we don't do like the prelims in the morning and then finals in the afternoon. It's all finals.
Oh, okay.
Time is important, like if you have kids seed them, and so like the champs is like your top.
Yeah.
So like your top, they take your top time, in whatever event, and seed them, and then that is the time. So you have a whole year to work on that time.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And every swim, exactly. I mean, we swam in the States for years, so we're used to different things and how it's run. It's just finals are for SDC. Or, yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah, I just one thing to add.
Yeah.
I do want to add, so any swimmer can swim at any EFSL swim meet on any day. There is another master calendar outside of this one. I mean, every team has meets basically from now until February. These are just the meets that the team decided to go on. These are the meets that we're kind of asking for max participation at. But full disclosure, there are other meets outside of this calendar you could travel to. You would be responsible for your own travel there. And if there were less than 8 swimmers, you would probably be the parent on deck, and you would have to pay for any splash fees there.
Yeah, and
But-
I believe if you do want to go to any meets that are off of the calendar, you would have to reach out to Casey and to Jesse, because then Jesse would help get your swimmer, registered at the meet. So if there is other travel that you're like, hey, we really want to go to Portugal, or hey, we really want to go to Rhoda, then please start talking to Casey and Jesse as soon as you know, because they have to be doing things to get your swimmer signed up for those meets. Like, we'll get you signed up for the meet, but you're responsible for everything that happens to get
Yeah,
there.
Christine, she just reminded me. It is for traveling outside of these meets. The team you're going to has to approve it, so they can't say no.
Yeah.
Basically, if they accept one swimmer, they're basically saying every swimmer from that team can come. So let's say they can only host 150 swimmers, and they already have 140 spots. Well, they might not let your swimmer go because there's a chance that more swimmers from our team could jump
Might
on
want
board.
to go.
But
So-
just communicate that early with Jesse, and he can
Yeah.
work on that
And
approval.
we can help you with
Yeah.
that. Any other questions? So I'll be around. As the meet director, I'm responsible for executing the meet, putting it all together, making sure that the meet runs smoothly. But I could always use somebody to help put out fires as they come. So if you are interested, come and find me, and I could always use an extra set of hands. So thank you.
Study buddy?
Sure.
Perfect.
Yep.
Okay, so Study Buddies. I know I threw everybody off because there's an additional clipboard in the back for something called Study Buddies. My name is Christine Arnold. I'm a middle school science teacher. I've actually been teaching at Sigonella for 21 years, and I'm entering my 28th year of teaching. And I love it. It's awesome. It's my jam. And so as a means to have our swimmers be prepared both for being what we call a student athlete, right? So we have student athletes that are 6 years old, like go them, but all the way through high school. And so as part of the program, we want to make sure that we are at least giving them space and time to work on that student part of the student athlete. And so my science lab is open to all the Swordfish swimmers that need it to be picked up after school. We have a little bit of playground time, we do some snack, come up to the lab, they start on their homework. We can do, I have a master's degree in early education, and so I actually am certed in pre-K through 8th grade for like all the things, and middle school and high school science as well. And so I do like to team them up, so to have kind of big fish and little fish working together. So we can do spelling lists, we can do math facts, we can do have kids have a book. And the way that Study Buddies runs, it's also a great way for you to get volunteer hours, because I do need additional volunteers to help get the kiddos to the pool. But we do work really, really tightly with all of the squads and with the coaches to make sure that the kids are kind of fed, homework is at least started, and they are decked out and ready to dive in the pool as soon as practice starts. We usually collect them all up at the flagpole after school. We have a sign-in, we'll have a WhatsApp group, so if kids aren't able to come to Study Buddies for whatever reason. And it is open to everyone, so that if while it is on NAS 2, while our practices are on NAS 2, we do not do Study Buddies because it just doesn't make sense. A lot of our team is, it would be closer for them to be at their own homes if they're on Marinai, to then just pop over to NAS 2 as opposed to being here and having to go. The only day of the week I cannot host it is on Wednesdays, and that's the early release day, and that is because I am literally in meetings from 1:15 until 3:30. And so there's, and that's like after practice starts. Once we are on NAS 1 though, so right as soon as, so like Labor Day, right? Yeah. So as soon as Labor Day hits, Study Buddies will be open. I do a form that I send out every month to get, and it has lots of different options, communication options, but we'll do a WhatsApp group for those, and I welcome everybody to the lab. We also I have a whole kind of creativity zone too, just so you know. So I've got all kinds of stuff. We can paint, we can color, we can do clay. We can, for those kiddos who need extra tactile and extra movement and things, so that they can be ready for practice. So, so there is a sign up there if you're at all interested. Just jot your name down, but I will also be sending everything out to the squads. And I act as the POC between the coaches as well, like if kids aren't going to be there, so as a help. So, and I hope to see you.
Thanks, Christine.
All right. I think that was it. Next slide. Perfect. Any questions? Any other questions? Yeah, absolutely.
So when you're registering, I forgot to mention, we have multiple payment options. So you don't have to pay via credit card on Team Unify. Team Unify assesses a 3% credit card fee, so if you'd rather pay cash, check, or Navy Fed transfer, come see me or talk to me or reach out to me, and we are more than willing to do that. So
Save yourself the 3%. All right, what questions do you guys have? Yes, ma'am. Miss Christine Arnold.
Yeah.
So just, she has an email address. I think it's on the email. If not, we'll get it out to you.
We can pin that. We have a post that we pin as well that has the email address to it as well.
right, so all that you just come to me, you just literally can PDF it and email it to me, and then I keep them with like electronically.
Just the last page though.
Yeah.
We don't need the HIPAA stuff. Just the, yeah.
Just let me. And there's my email address is it's in the parent handbook for sure, and it's also in the registration.
If for some odd reason you call to make an appointment and they don't have any appointments before the 18th, just communicate that with Coach Casey. What else you guys got? Nothing? All right, well, if you think of questions later, feel free to message, put in the general chat on WhatsApp or
in your color group now. But just make sure you get your question answered. We're here for you, and we hope you're interested in joining the team. All right, that's all I got. Thank you.